What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. In this video, we're going to hear from several people regarding Trump, whether he should sign the $900 billion stimulus package or if we will get the $2,000 stimulus checks that he's demanding. In addition to that, I have another state that is extending stimulus checks in that state. So make sure to watch all the way to the end so you don't miss out on the information. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you're new to the channel and like this video as it really helps out our channel. All right, let's jump right into it. First up, Dr. Scott Gottlieb says nursing homes should start to see some indication whether or not the vaccines are having an effect as early as next week. He says we will begin to see some indication that vaccines are probably having an effect maybe as early as this week because we know immunity does begin to kick in after about a week after the vaccination. This comes as we have passed over 80 million people testing positive in the entire world. The US just passed 19 million positive cases, and December is already officially our deadliest month on record for this pandemic, as we're seeing record deaths almost every other day. Next up, let's hear from Republican Representative John Rose from Tennessee regarding Tennessee's cry for emergency aid and also the stimulus package.
Back with the Fox News Alert, authorities scouring a home tied to a person of interest in the Nashville Christmas bombing. Here with more on what's next in the investigation and his first response on camera, Tennessee Congressman John Rose. Congressman, I know this has hit home for you on Christmas Day. What are your thoughts this morning?
Well, good morning, Griff, and thank you for having me on this morning. It's a tragedy when we see these things happen. Fortunately, we saw our great police officers in Nashville responding quickly and saving many lives by getting folks to evacuate. Obviously, the authorities are conducting a thorough investigation, and it sounds like they have some very credible leads at this point, and we feel confident that they'll get to the bottom of this in quick order.
Congressman, you're part of the congressional delegation calling on the president to declare an emergency. What do Tennesseans need?
Well, I do support the governor's call for an emergency declaration, and I've been in contact with Nashville's mayor. And at this point, I think we need certainly first the resources of federal law enforcement to help to ferret out the details and get to the bottom of what happened with this blast on Christmas morning. And then we're going to need help with the follow-up cleanup and the rebuilding of the businesses along 2nd Avenue in downtown Nashville that have been damaged, the businesses and residents that have been displaced by this. So hopefully there will be quick federal aid coming to assist the aid that both local and state authorities will make available.
And Congressman, our hats are off to those 6 Nashville police officers. The heroism is just unparalleled, what they did. I want to quickly, though, before we run out of time, bring you here to Washington because Speaker Pelosi intends to vote tomorrow on that $2,000 increase of direct payments. How will you vote? What do you think will happen?
Well, unfortunately, we see Speaker Pelosi continuing to play political games. There are people all across this country that need targeted, timely, temporary relief to help with response to the pandemic and the imposed shutdowns all across the country. I wish that Speaker Pelosi would have let us provide that aid in a timely manner months ago. Over 40 times, she and the Democrats blocked in the House a vote on additional Paycheck Protection Program funding and forgiveness legislation that was before the House. And so it's a little disingenuous now for them to put this vote before us when there is so much pork in the appropriations bill that we got only hours before having to vote on it last week. So I hope that this will be a signal to the Americans of showing them how dysfunctional Washington has become and how Speaker Pelosi has continued to play political games by saying nothing is better than something. It's a little late now to step up and be trying to offer assistance and act like you're the one that's trying to provide badly needed assistance to the American people.
And Congressman, we'll find out if the president may have waited too late to get involved. Congressman John Rose from Tennessee, thank you. Our thoughts and prayers with all of your fellow Tennesseans out there. Thanks for taking time.
We actually have several different consequences that will happen if President Donald Trump doesn't sign that $900 billion stimulus package basically within like the next 24 hours. If the stimulus package bill is not signed by Monday night, unemployment benefits, eviction protections, and small business aid and stimulus checks will all be frozen and or expired, and the government will shut down if the bill isn't signed. Republican Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania has some strong words for the president.
Joining us from Pennsylvania, Republican Senator Pat Toomey. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Enhanced unemployment benefits ran out Saturday. We could be facing a government shutdown midnight Monday night. Senator, you disagree with some of the provisions in this massive funding package. Why should the president sign it?
Well, because you don't get everything you want, even if you're the president of the United States. We have two legislative bodies, and Democrats control one, Republicans the other. Look, if it were just the freestanding government funding bill, I would almost certainly be voting against that. But I think the COVID relief measures are really, really important. And, you know, in my state, as in many other states, we have governors who are closing down businesses again. People are out of work, certainly through no fault of their own. I think we need the extended unemployment benefits. I think we need another round of the PPP loans, which are really grants to small businesses to keep their workforce, part of their business. And time's running out. So I understand the president would like to send bigger checks to everybody. I think what he ought to do is sign this bill and then make the case. Congress can pass another bill. I don't agree with $2,000 checks to people who've had no lost income whatsoever, which is the vast majority of Americans. But the president's free to make that case. Democrats will agree with that and see where it ends up. But we've got a bill right now that his administration helped negotiate. I think we ought to get that done.
Your colleague, Senator Lindsey Graham, has tweeted, after spending some time with President real Donald Trump, today I am convinced he is more determined than ever to increase stimulus payments to $2,000 per person and challenge Section 230 big tech liability protection. Both are reasonable demands. Do you worry we're heading for a government shutdown, sir?
I really don't know. I think the president has not actually explicitly said he's going to veto this bill. I take that as a hopeful sign. Mm-hmm. I think as he leaves office, he will, I understand he wants to be remembered for advocating for big checks, but the danger is he'll be remembered for chaos and misery and erratic behavior if he allows this to expire. So I think the best thing to do, as I say, sign this and then make the case for subsequent legislation.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is going to hold a floor vote on the $2,000 stimulus item President Trump has requested, putting all House Republicans on the record. How can Republicans vote against more aid when millions of Americans are still unemployed through no fault of their own?
Yeah, because it's terribly untargeted, right? Why would we be sending $2,000 to people with a six-figure income who've had no suspension, no reduction of their income at all? Consider the millions of federal employees. Never missed a check. They're not going to miss a check. Their expenses are probably somewhat diminished. Savings rate went through the roof. Why would we be sending several $1,000s to these folks? This money isn't sitting on a shelf. We're going to print it or we're going to borrow it. And I think that the aid should be much, much more targeted. It should be targeted to people who've actually lost their job, small businesses that are actually in danger of going under. Those are very real categories. The numbers are significant. That's where the aid should go, not to people who've never had any loss of income.
So that gives you a little glimpse into why some Republican senators are against stimulus checks going to everybody. I personally disagree. I think we're in a once-in-a-100-year pandemic, and the government needs to step in and pretty much help out the vast majority of Americans right now. We're not talking mass amounts of money here. We're talking a little bit of stimulus to get us through these times and through a once-in-a-100-year pandemic where the vast majority of us are struggling with, food costs are rising, people are being thrown out, people are losing their jobs. At one point, this was like a month or two ago, I seen some data that up to 40% of the American working force had been on or was on unemployment at one point during this pandemic. So 40% of the people working in America had lost their job or were temporary and lost their jobs or were on unemployment at that very given moment. That is a crazy, crazy amount. 40% of people working. That's just like, how can we not help Americans? And honestly, like, even if people that aren't affected that much get a little bit of help from their government right now, I really think it's just goodwill, good gesture, because honestly, we are just struggling as a nation right now, and we need some form of unity to help out people going forward. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me bring you another state that is extending their stimulus check program in Colorado. Governor Polis extends their stimulus check executive order providing $375 payments to Coloradans facing financial hardship. People earning less than $52,000 who have filed for unemployment at least once since March 15th are eligible, and they are extending this order for $375 payments in Colorado. So it's actually nice to see states and cities and counties actually stepping up and passing stimulus and rent assistance and mortgage assistance programs all across the United States. I will be bringing you more states and more cities every episode or two going forward so that we can spread the word on all these additional stimulus programs. Remember, tomorrow is going to be a very big day. Nancy Pelosi has scheduled a vote for the $2,000 stimulus checks on the House floor starting tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Our new videos go live at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will have updates for you throughout the day. Make sure you subscribe, and you can click the bell notification if you want to get notifications when we go live. Our next video will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this bottom video is our second channel, The Daily Dirt, where I just published a new video with my wife. This video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income, and I teach people how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.